Hello everyone and welcome back to LPR's Delivery. Today we're going to start with Lesson 10, where we continue to talk about describing photos. And today we talk about there is and there are. Previously we talked about actions. For example, the plane is floating or the women are holding on to the wing. We also have talked about weather. For example, it's raining or there's heavy rain. But today we'll be looking at how to describe photos like these, where we just see lots of things. For example, an aircraft or 5 aircraft, people, a big red stripe, a truck, a ramp, some markings, the tarmac. Most photos have many things like these that we can talk about. And what do these words have in common? Well, they're all nouns. Some of them are singular nouns, like a truck, a big red stripe, an aircraft, and some are plural. For example, some markings, people, or 5 aircraft. Notice that the word aircraft can be singular, an aircraft, or plural, 5 aircraft. One way that we can talk about nouns in a photo is to use the there and verb to be with the noun. For example, people. We have one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, many people, etc. So the word people is a plural noun. So when we say many people on the tarmac, the subject of the sentence is many people, which is plural. So we need a plural verb. There are many people on the tarmac. Let's look at another example. Here we see a truck. A truck is singular, so we need the singular verb is. There is a truck at the top of the photo. Notice that we often shorten this to there's a truck at the top of the photo. Now, we see the 2 ways that we use there is and there are. But notice that we often use prepositional phrases to show the place or the location of the noun. On the tarmac, at the top of the photo. First, let's look at describing the photo itself. Where is this location? It's at the top of the photo. How about this one? Sure, at the bottom of the photo. How about here? The left side. On the left side of the photo. And here, on the right side of the photo. Notice that for top and bottom, we say at the top, at the bottom. However, for the left side and the right side, we say on the left side, on the right side. Let's have a quick quiz. Where is this? At the top of the photo. Try to speak aloud as you watch the video and practice, because really you need to practice speaking as much as you can. How about this one? On the left side of the photo. Good. At the bottom of the photo. On the right side of the photo. Now, sometimes when we look at photos, we notice that there's a 3D perspective. We have things that are close to us and things that are far away. So, how can we describe these locations or these places? How about these here? These planes, They are all where? We call this the background. So what preposition do we use? In the background. There are some planes in the background. Now, how about these? 1, 2, 3. These are close to us. So we say in the foreground. So in the foreground, in the background. There is a staircase in the foreground. There are some other planes in the background. Now, these are prepositional phrases that we can use when we're describing the photo itself. But sometimes we don't describe the photo. Actually, it's better if we describe things in relation to the stuff in the photo. For that, we might use these prepositions. In the box, on the box, under the box, next to the box, behind the box, in front of the box, between the boxes. For example, let's look at this photo. So many things we can talk about here with the equipment here in the tower. For example, there's a man sitting in front of the desk. Now, often there is more than one possible prepositional phrase. For example, there's a man sitting at the desk. So, at the desk, in front of the desk are both possible. How about here? There's a mouse on the desk. Same. There are many screens on the desk. Notice we can also say there are many screens in front of the man because the screens are on the desk, but they're also in front of the man. How about this one? There's a phone next to the screen. Here's the screen. The phone is next to it. There's a microphone in his hand. There's a remote control between the screens. Here's a screen. Here's a screen. The remote control is between the screens. Now, let's put this all together. We've talked about verb tenses, we've talked about whether, we've talked about there is, there are. So let's look at an example about how to put it all together to describe a photo. Take some time and look at this photo. In this picture, a small propeller aircraft has crashed. It looks like the pilot may have crash landed, so perhaps the pilot wasn't killed. The plane is yellow, and there are some markings on the wings. The markings are blue circles with a white star and a red circle inside the star. There is also the number 50 on the fuselage in black. The authorities have blocked off the area with yellow tape. There's a man standing behind the aircraft. Perhaps he is investigating the crash. There is another man on the right side of the photo who is wearing a yellow jacket. There are also some people in the background. They also look like officials who may be investigating the crash. It looks like the man in the background is writing something. Other people are also observing the scene. There are a few cars and a golf cart in the background. There are also some trees in the background, and the grass looks well taken care of. So I guess this plane has crashed in a park or on a golf course. Now, let's analyze this response. First, let's look at the present perfect tense, which is the present result of a past action. The aircraft has crashed. The pilot may have crash landed. Authorities have blocked off the area. And this plane has crashed. Notice all of these actions happened before the photo was taken, but we care about the present result. But we notice that most of the response is in present simple, which are here present states. It looks like. The plane is yellow. There are some markings. The markings are blue. There is the number. There is a man, etc. Now, notice that when we use there is, there are, it's always in present simple. Also notice when we use there are and there is, we almost always have these prepositional phrases to tell the location. There are some markings on the wings. There is the number on the fuselage. There's a man behind the aircraft. There is another man on the right side of the photo. There are some people in the background. In the background, in the background. You see the idea. We also use some present continuous because these are actions. Standing behind the aircraft. Is investigating the crash. Is wearing a yellow jacket. May be investigating the crash. Is writing something. Are observing the scene. And we also have one past simple verb. The pilot wasn't killed, because here we're referring to the exact time that the pilot crash landed. So we can use the past simple here as well. So that's all for today's lesson. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you again for lesson 11. ขอบคุณครับ สวัสดีครับ